Hey guys, it's Lawrence Presman. You're watching Puck Time with the Prez. It's Tuesday. Love doing this show live. Carmine Bianco with us. Andrew McGinnis. So much to talk about. A whole slate of games. We're going to take apart 4 in depth. And then we're going to do the last minute of play where we'll look at all the other games. And hopefully Andrew will have some props for us. We've got people requesting props. And, well, we like to cater to our listeners. Also, a big heads up. NBA show goes today. Starts again. Ski, Tony Finn, and Rob Vino with Dan Leach, our new host. So make sure to check that out. And other than that, Andrew, let's start with you. How are you, brother?
Doing pretty good. Got back on the board yesterday. Pretty good night, solid night. 2-0 in the NBA. I mentioned I had some frustrating loss. Okay night with the NHL, and looking forward to tonight's card. I've got a 3-pack loaded, regular plays as well, side and as well. So feeling good. Looking forward to the night here. And it's been a pretty good day so far.
Carmine Bianco, brother dude, my good pal. Me and you are going to the Leaf game on Thursday night. What are you doing until then?
Yes, I'm hoping Sorrel starts. I'm a Nashville Predators jersey. He's in goal tonight, so hopefully he wins tonight and continues to win. I'm good, man. I'm in one of those. An old man would say cantankerous moods. I'm just in a bad mood. It has to do with like everything. This coronavirus that is going on. Yes, I understand the serious issues of this virus and people are dying. It's especially bad in Italy. From a sports end, we're seeing games played in empty stadiums, and it may actually come to the NBA. NBA told their teams to be prepared if this gets worse to play in empty arenas and have a plan in place. I put off a trip to Italy a couple years in a row, and I planned my trip to Italy already, 14 days in September, and now there's a good possibility if this continues to get worse, I'm going to cancel it because the trip starts in Venice, and all of Italy's on lockdown, if you don't know. No games are played until April the 3rd. And it's just a bad situation out there. I understand, Lawrence, we talked about this, and yes, people die from the flu, but the percentage of people that are dying from this virus, percentage-wise, to how many have contracted it is much higher than what the flu is. So, yeah, it's a bad time out there. And then to add matters to it, not to say it's bad, I had an absolutely horrible weekend of sports betting. It just couldn't get any worse. Yes, I went 2-1 last night, so maybe the start of a new week is much better. But man, I got kicked in the teeth, for lack of a better word. So yeah, that's my long-winded rant so far.
Okay, well that rant was subdued at best. I was listening to the radio today, and I think San Jose Sharks are stopping their fans from coming to the games.
All of March.
What?
All of March.
Yeah. So the 3 fans that were actually showing up to watch San Jose will now have to watch them at home. Hey, guys. Hey, Richie. Hey, Brian, Zeke, and Elliot. Andrew, I haven't seen you on this show. Finally made it to a live show. Welcome, my friend. If you got any questions, just ask us. Anthony M., always good to see you joining us every day. And for the person who got caught by their boss yesterday watching a live stream of the show, be careful. What's up, Derek? How are you, brother? Let's take care of some business. First, it's $2 Tuesdays. We take our featured handicapper. We make their plays $2. Wager Talk's feature handicapper today, Gianni. He is as good as they get. He's leading the way out of every handicapper at wagertalk.com. He is the most profitable so far in 2020. And Jared Smith is the $2 handicapper over at Sports Memo. And yes, Derek, $2, no brainer. Prez, where's the Bruins jersey? I don't know. Somebody send me a Bruins jersey. Make sure Marchmont's, whatever his name is, on the back. I've gone blank. He's my favorite player in hockey because that's how I would play hockey, like a dirty little rat. Anyway.
And I believe Vivian is a closet Bruins fan. She says it all the time. She is a closet Bruins
Marchant. Thank you, Vivian. Welcome to the show, Vivi. She didn't send a parlay in, guys. So, yeah, Zeke and I always listen to the VP. She pretty much has total control. So $2 Tuesdays, Jared Smith just started with us at Sports Memo. He's the host of the Happy Hour, our college basketball show with Drew Martin and Ralph Michaels. So make sure to check that out. And yes, $2 Tuesday at Wager Talk and at Sports Memo. 100% both love the bot. The biz, I don't know. Yeah, Vivian will post her parlay on Twitter. Check it out at VPresman. Boys, let's start. And then we've got promos to give out. We had a few people comment on my joke yesterday. They said it was pretty decent. So namaste. Thank you. I will not have a joke for today because I don't have a ton. But tomorrow we have a short card, Andrew and Buster. So I will definitely regale you with my fabulous, famous, bestest joke of all time. Okay.
You would think with all the Jewish comedians there are in the world, you would be a little bit funnier.
Ba-boom. Yeah, okay. Can we get to the Toronto Maple Leaf game? Yeah, so Toronto playing Tampa Bay, and here's my quick take. You know, I think I have a pretty good grasp of this Toronto Maple Leaf team. Every time they're at the top of the mountain, they fall very, very fast. And every time they're at the bottom of the mountain, they put a rocket on and climb very, very fast. This is the most inconsistent team in hockey. But one thing we know, when you are about to count them out, they win 3 in a row. And when you're about to buy a ticket for them to win the Stanley Cup, they go on a West Coast road trip and can't get a goal. Yes, Randy K, Toronto stinks. I like them tonight. Carr minus 105. I like the over in this game at 6.5. I have a predicted score of 4-3 for Toronto. Yeah, Broken Mechanic. I got the Leafs tonight as well. Carm, tell us what you like.
Well, you know where I'm going here with this one. Yeah, the Leafs do get an important piece of their defense back. Morgan Riley returns after 23 games off. They went, I think, 11-9-3 without them. But, you know, I said on last week's show before they went out west that this was a Western road trip where they needed to pick up 6 points. They were playing the bottom 3 teams in the West, the Leafs opponents, which, if that well for them playing the Lightning tonight, because this is Lightning's team, and regardless of the fact that they did lose to Detroit the other night, they won the game that mattered the most, which is the one in Boston. Points back of Boston. Again, can they catch them? I don't know. I looked at their records to close out, and they're pretty much even against their competition. Said what every league to say, and I understand you're objective, but you're also a Leaf fan. Will always believe that this team is better than they are right now. I don't think this. I think this team. They're aside from the fact that 13 games.
Yeah, Carm, you're cutting in and out right now with your voice. I got to move on to Andrew, and hopefully your mic will work better. Elliot, take care of yourself, brother. Bogus, joining us for the first time. Thank you so much from Portugal. Carm, we'll come back to you. Andrew, what do you like in this Leaf game?
The over at all between these two teams, especially, you know, the Leafs are trending to the over completely when they're off a game where they score 2. The thing is, that happened a few times for them recently. We saw what happened in their last game. I mean, and that game against LA in particular, 0-0 going into a shootout. I mean, that's like the Leafs the last thing you'd expect to see from a Leafs game. And many people are talking about Morgan Rielly coming back, helping them defensively, logging those minutes. But let's not forget, he's also an offensive defenseman as well. He can, jump up into the rush as well, and that's definitely a factor. But at the same time, I mean, first game back, they have a real tough schedule. I mean, we got Tampa, Boston, and Nashville. I think they got to win 2 out of 3 of those games. This one might be a scratch, honestly. I mean, you've got 3 tough teams coming up, a really tough schedule on the horizon. This would be a huge game for them to win. I don't really want to be involved in the side. You had a great point yesterday on Puck Time talking about how Detroit took care of Tampa following a great win that they had over Boston. That's typical letdown spot.
Yeah. So
for this one here, I think it's kind of a weird spot for both teams. I know it's very easy to take the over with both these teams, but at the same time, we've got Toronto coming off a really bad West Coast road trip. I think they will come out and play well in front of their fans. Prez, I've got my first little prop here is a shot count prop here. So Leafs over 30 points at -1. I really feel like the message in the locker room is going to be peppering every single thing they possibly can at the net, trying not to be fancy. First period especially, we're probably going to see a lot of action in front of the net. And I was pounding Matthews overshots, Marner. Those numbers were so low at 3.5, and now it's gotten juiced up quite a bit. So a few prop bets for today. I like the over, but I also like shot count over for the Maple Leafs.
He's Andrew McGinnis. You can find him at sportsmemo.com. He's got 3 NHL plays up tonight. $39, $29. What is it, Andrew?
Yeah, 3 for $39.
There you go. Carmine, one of our listeners made a really good point. Your Wi-Fi or your connection wasn't good because you were shit-talking the Leafs.
It's a possibility. Tell me if it's better. I've switched. I've got 2 different Wi-Fis here. One's dedicated for the show, and that's the one that was choppy. So hopefully I'm sounding better now.
You certainly are. And hello, William. Welcome to the show. Go ahead, Carm. What do you like in this Leaf game?
Yeah, so my point was, and I'll go through it quickly again, Morgan Rielly back. Big part, missed 23 games. They were 11-9-3 with him out of the lineup. And they dropped those games. They should have picked up 6 points. They're now 1 point up on Florida for the last playoff spot, that 3rd seed in the Atlantic. And, to close out the season, other than the game that they play against each other, the Leafs, 8 of their last 12 games will be against teams that are currently in a playoff spot or fighting for a playoff spot. Florida, only 6, with a couple of games against Ottawa and New Jersey and Montreal. So this is a big stretch of 3 games. Toronto needs to pick up 4 points out of the next 3 games against Boston, Tampa, and Nashville. We'll see tonight if they play to the level of their opponents. I just wish Leaf fans would see this team for what they are. And yes, a team with a lot of talent, but a team that is still missing something. I don't want to say it's heart, but they have no identity. I'll continue to say it over and over again. This team doesn't seem to have the mental part of the game to continuously win. I don't think they could beat Tampa tonight, but they won't beat them in a 7-game series in the first round of the playoffs. I can tell you that much. So as far as tonight goes, that total, listen, we've seen 7s all the time, and now we're seeing a 6.5 minus 115 between these two, which leads me to believe I think it's going to be a lower scoring game. I could be wrong if you're a Leaf fan and you want to see some goals scored. I'm leaning under here, under 6.5.
Do you guys take a bright spot out of the fact that at least the Leafs had a good defensive performance on their West Coast?
Against 3 teams that can't score? No, I don't. William, we have not broken down the Rangers Stars game yet, but that is one of the 4 that we're going to take apart. So stay with us. We'll get there soon. Boys, I just want to give out a promo code. We've got a great promo code coming up later in the show for first-time buyers only, but right now, take advantage of our March Madness special. Seriously. I told you guys yesterday I was on a 17-6 college basketball run. I had a 5% college basketball play last night, and it won. I want to rant about that for 1 second, but I just want to make sure you guys get the promo code. The regular price as of this coming Monday for the rest of March Madness is $199. You guys can get it for $149 6 days early. PZMM50. Head over to either Wager Talk or Sports Memo. Use the promo code PZMM50, and I do suggest you purchase me. Rob Vino, Gianni, Koken, we're all absolutely rolling right now in college basketball. And before we get to the next game, I just want to say one quick thing. Last night I was on under 133 in the Wofford East Tennessee State game. I was able to watch it on TV. Wofford was down by 14 points with a minute to go in the game. I had 7 points to spare on my under, and they decided to start fouling. 14 points. So for Wofford to do the math, in order for them to win the game, they will need to hit 5 3-pointers in a row in a minute and have the other team miss 10 free throws in a row. What the hell are these people thinking?
That's college basketball in a nutshell.
Andrew, I was happy that he won. It's myself. If he loses this play, we're going to have to listen. He won his play, and we still have to listen to it on the show today.
I can find a rant out of anything. I'd like to rant about the coronavirus, too, but we'll leave that. Jonathan Ramirez, I like the Maple Leafs, too, dude. And Brandon, thank you for the kind comments. Boys, make sure to take our March Madness special, PZMM50. PZMM50. It's $50 off of next week's price, which we put up this week. So it's only $149 for the entire March Madness. I will have at least 2 or 3 5-stars, including last night's one. They're $40 each. So get over to Wager Talk and Sports Memo and use that promo code PZMM50. Boys, the game of the night, Boston Bruins versus Philadelphia Flyers. And I mean, the Philadelphia Flyers, and Andrew, I'll go to you first. This team is just absolutely on fire. They've literally won 9 games in a row, and only one of those games in overtime. They're playing the Boston Bruins, have won 4 of their last 5 and 7 of their last 10. And here's what I know. I know Boston is better. I know Boston is a veteran team. And I know Boston gets up for playing these upstarts, if you will. Here you've got a Philly team, fat and sassy, as Marco would say, looking ahead to the playoffs, excited, feel like they have a good shot at going deep. And Boston, they just don't care. They're like, come, little boy, let's go. This is a game that Boston loves to play, and Boston loves to win. I like the Bruins tonight. Black and gold, baby.
You can't argue it, but I'm going to go ahead with Philadelphia here for the reason why that pretty much you just said, though, is the fact that they're going to be more motivated. And I'm not saying the more motivated team is the team that comes out on top the most, but they have won 9 straight games for a reason, that they kind of have that chip on their shoulder. I like betting on teams that have a chip on their shoulder. That same thing as the New York Rangers. They continue to be plus price underdogs, but they have way more motivation and stuff like that. And this is a spot here. The Bruins just had a big game against Tampa Bay, or back-to-back games against them. I understand they dropped the second one, but this one going into Philadelphia, Philly's not just scoring, but right now they're shutting teams down defensively. They've allowed 1 goal against Buffalo, 1 goal against Carolina, 2 against Washington. This is what they want to be doing. They've been going over the total, but guess who's actually pushing that over? Not the opposition. It's them that's scoring the goals. So I like Philadelphia here. I also like their team total over 2.5. Anytime you get a 5.5 here with 2 teams like this, I know it's the Bruins. I know they trend under a lot, but I love betting on overs with them when we get 5.5s and unders with them when we get 6s or a rare 6.5. It's been 8 of the last 12 going over for Philadelphia. And I think that they kind of string the Bruins into that same type of style here. So I look over and I look at Philadelphia.
Carm, I think Philly's won every game head to head. That doesn't continue. It looks like there's a house divided in my house. Vice Prez is on Philly, and I like the Bruins. Where are you going, brother?
Yeah, I always talk about riding a streak here, but this is one of those games, again, Philadelphia and the Bruins, 9 in a row, but the Bruins are a very good road team, and they're coming off a loss against Tampa. Believe me, there's motivation with this Bruins team, and if a streak's going to end, and this is if it's going to end, it's going to be to a team like the Bruins, number one defensive team in the East. I'm not sure if that's overall as well too. Again, 8 of 10 wins, and there is no complacency with this team right now because every game is important to them. They're still only 6 points up on Tampa, and that can change on a dime. They need to string a few more wins together. The Flyers have Tampa Bay up next in a couple of days. You're getting a very short price with a very good Bruins team. For me, as much as I hate to get in front of a streak, it's either Bruins or pass on this game.
He's Carmine Bianco. The best soccer expert we got, an incredible hockey expert, awesome in NFL football, and a all-round really good dude. You can find him at wagertalk.com. What do you want to say, Carl?
If I can mention one more thing. I want to mention one more thing is typically you see the Bruins with Halak on the road and Rask at home. This is another game, which is a big game for them, and Rask is in net tonight. And this is one where this would typically be a game for Halak to play. They're going with their number one goaltender here. I think it's another reason to sort of look at the Bruins as the play here tonight.
But Carter Hart's been super sharp as well. It's been so evident if he's in nets comparison to anybody else, it's way different. He's allowing 1 to 2 goals per contest.
Well, this is why I would stay away from the total.
Yeah.
And the over. So
I was gonna say, Carm, if you weren't already taken, I think Prez would do a good job making like an online dating profile for you. All around great guy, great soccer handicap, great football. He's got it for you.
Shiny head.
He's a cool dude, but Broke Mechanic said a little earlier that I always hate on the Leafs. Here's my take on it, and I'll use a Leaf fan instead of the Prez. If I was stuck in a room with Mussolini, Hitler, and a Leaf fan, and I was given a gun with 2 bullets and told I had to use them, I'd shoot the Leaf fan twice.
Great. That's exactly what this Jew wants to hear from his good friend. That he would shoot a Leaf fan before the killer of 6 million of my tribe members. Carmine Bianco, you have been removed from the show. No, you actually have been removed from the show. Wait till you see the screen. I literally removed you from the show. Okay, you're back. Oh, my God. Okay, one of our customers, Tonka Hockey, had a meeting with Jay Gartner today. It's a buddy of his. He grew up with him. And Jake says they're going to kill the Detroit Red Wings. Tonka, Jake has no clue. Like, seriously. The fact that he said that is not a guarantee. With that said, I do think that will happen, but we'll get there in a bit. Rangers versus the Dallas Stars. Shesterkin is back. I think that's a big sign for the Rangers. The Rangers have been in a little bit of a free fall of late. They just lost to New Jersey, and they've lost 4 of their last 5 games. They're still in the playoff hunt, and they have a real chance. Dallas has lost 4 in a row, including 2 to their arch rivals, the Nashville Predators. I like the under here, Andrew. That's the only thing I got.
I like the under. I like the first period under, and it's a really crappy price now at this point. But I was looking at the Rangers plus a half goal first period, maybe even a shot in the money line. If this team hasn't lost a period, they've only lost in the first period twice in their last 11 games. They've been getting off to really good starts, surprising a lot of teams. A lot of games that they've lost have actually been collapses in the third period. This Rangers team always gets off to a good start, and I think a lot of people are sleeping on guys like Mika Zibanejad and Temi Panarin. I don't know what it is. I think it's because they're not on like a completely elite team. But, for a guy scoring 5 goals, for Panarin to be in the Hart Trophy race, this is definitely a team to take seriously. I just think it's an absolute joke, the fact that they're plus 150 dogs here. I understand the position they're in. It's just, I don't know. I think you can't lay the number here with Dallas. Hockey is not a point spread sport. It's an odd sport. So you have to bet where the value is. And I think this is where the value is. Shesterkin comes back. I don't think he'll kind of have any rust. I think he'll cut right back to where he was. He's 9-2 on the season. What a crazy record for a goalie. Comes back in here. And I think the scoring power is there for the Rangers over Dallas. And I think the goaltending is just as good for New York, if not better. So you got to look at the underdog here, I think.
Carm, if I was in a room with Hitler, Mussolini, Genghis Khan, and 73 other of the worst people in the world and one Juventus fan, I'd shoot the Juventus fan.
Yeah, I hear you.
What do you like in this game, you nutcase?
Whatever. Listen, that's far, because I saw a lot of people commenting on that. As far as that scenario goes, that would never happen.
I know, we're playing around, dude. Everybody knows.
No,
Everybody knows. We're playing around.
No, but you have to understand that scenario would never happen. I would never find myself in a room with a Leaf fan. But
joke on top of a joke.
Yeah, whatever. Okay, anyways, moving on to this game. I kind of agree. I have to agree with you guys on the Rangers, Dallas, and leaning to the under here. Shesterkin's in net again. And, his first game back against the Rangers, against the Devils, they lost 6-4. If you watch the game, he was sort of swimming in goal a little bit. It's one of those things that happens when a goalie's a little rusty. And, I think with a little more practice now and having a game under his belt, we see a much better version of him tonight against Dallas. So for me, it's the under here. And you know what? This is one of those games that I could easily, with a low-scoring game, I can easily see going to overtime. So on the three-way line, you can get plus 300 on the draw. So regulation time draw plus 300. So if you're looking for a little prop bet, that's one you might want to take. Low-scoring game that could be 1-1, 2-2 heading to overtime.
Everybody's asking for an Italian joke, Carm. So here's one. The Italian national soccer team just scored 2 goals. Ha! See? A joke.
Oh.
I made that up. Guys, tomorrow we have a new customer deal. Get any package from any expert, daily package only, 80% off the price. 80% off the price. If you've never bought from Wager Talk or Sports Memo, literally 80% off of the price. Use the promo code PZ5. I don't know why I put a 5 there, but PZ5. Carm, if you weren't sitting down, you'd trip, right? Because you're an Italian? Ha!
Pretty much. The shortest book ever written?
Yeah, it's called What Men Think About. It's actually a real book. You can find it. It's got like 300 pages. Every page is blank except the first one, and it says sex. No, that's true story.
That's pretty true. It's pretty accurate, honestly.
The shortest book ever written is the history of wars won by the Italian army. Currently at 0, but that's the only Italian joke I have.
Carm, is the stereotype that Italians talk with their hands a lot true, or is that just completely stereotype?
Well, when you come make your way to Toronto, I'll smack you in the head, and you can tell me if that's true or not.
So that's my answer. Okay.
Yeah, yes, my money's on Andrew. The guy's like 6'8". He has a picture on Facebook of him with his grandmother. She came up to his kneecap.
The bigger they are, the harder they fall.
Guys, PZ5, first time buyer at Wager Talk or Sports Memo, 80% off of a daily package. That daily package will be like $2. So head over to Wager Talk or Sports Memo. Use the promo code PZ5. New York Islanders at Vancouver Canucks. 2 teams in a free fall and 2 teams that really need to right the ship and fast. The New York Islanders have lost 6 games in a row, 3 of them in overtime. Their last one was in overtime against Carolina. And Vancouver, they've won 1 of 6 They beat Colorado, an outstanding effort, actually, 6-3. And they really played well against Columbus. They just didn't get any goals. Well, they got one. Andrew, I'll go to you first before I give you my take. Talk to me.
Yeah, I'm just going to fade New York because they can't score. Plain and simple. I mean, if you're going to be a team that's consistently scoring in such low numbers, you have to be a good defensive team. The problem is, last year they were so good defensively, they were winning all their games by scoring 2 or 3 goals. This year they're giving up 3 or 4 a game, against pretty solid teams. And so, their low scoring is not helping them at all. I haven't been able to bet on this team in quite some time now, and I know that Vancouver had a pretty little bit of a rough patch. They lost to Toronto, lost to Columbus, lost to Arizona. They had a strong win against Colorado, and that's that's the game I'm going to focus on here, because in that game, it was 6-3. They really got their act together in the third period and learned how to close out a game. If you look at this Vancouver team, all the messages coming out of their locker room right now is we have to close games. We have to play a full 60 minutes, because they've had the lead in so many games. If you look at their past 10 games, they've won 3 of them, but they've had the lead probably in, I bet, 6 or 7 of those games. So in this one against New York, it's just a battle of depth. And right now, Vancouver has it. And I would argue this is a very generous price here on Vancouver.
Yeah, and I agree with you. Carm and I were actually talking about this game offline, and Carm likes the Islanders. He'll tell you why. I don't want to get in the way of the disaster known as the Islanders right now. And yeah, Michael, no Markstrom, huge loss for Vancouver. Haven't won since offhand. And yes, whoever wrote this, Alex43, this is the gambling podcast for hockey. And Wezzy, the NBA show starts back today. We have Ski, Tony and Rob Vino, and they'll be joined by the new host of the show, Dan Leach. He's absolutely outstanding. So make sure to check that out. It will be up late today because we just got a lot of testing to do with Dan. It's his first show. So check that out. It should be online by about 6 p.m. tonight, but we will normally be taping earlier than that. Carm, talk to me.
Yeah, we talked about this earlier, and obviously the Markstrom being gone for the Canucks, they're a completely different team. They're getting scored on by teams that don't normally score. Columbus, who had been struggling to score. You've got Ottawa, who scored on them. Arizona with 4, Ottawa with 5, Columbus with 5. Maybe it bodes well for, I talked about this Islanders team and how up until last week they were averaging over the last 10 games a couple of goals a game, and then they went into Montreal and only scored a couple, scored 3 in Ottawa, 2 at home against Carolina. So it's sort of that consistent thing, but it's going to be Samsonov in net tonight, and I think he gets his 20th win tonight. You're getting plus money, which you should be getting anyways with the Islanders. It was better earlier this morning when it was plus 115. It's down to plus 105, so a bit of Islander money coming in. I'm going to take the Islanders here just because we've seen it before. You lose your starter and you don't have adequate backup, and the team just struggles, and this Vancouver team is struggling right now. I understand they beat the Canucks, but at the end of the day, they've lost 5 of the last 6, and losing one where they didn't look good at all against the Columbus Blue Jackets. So I'm going to take the Islanders at plus money tonight in this game, but I would suggest, unless you have a real good feel on this, you just keep it off your betting card.
Davey writes a joke. Jewish grandson asked his grandfather for 20. He said 10. What do you need 5 for? And you want to know why Jews are such great negotiators? It seems like the grandfather is teaching the grandson the ways of life early. J Live, we're going straight to the Nashville and Montreal game. It's the last minute of play. Guys, remember, new customer deal for tomorrow, for Wednesday. Any package you want from any expert at Sports Memo or at Wager Talk, 80% off. Use the promo code P as in Prez, PZ5. So make sure to do that. And a lot of the college basketball games start at noon tomorrow. That's why we're promoting it now. Nashville, Montreal, let's go. 10, 15 seconds each. I like Nashville, and I lean on the under. Andrew.
Nashville puck line plus 230. If they're anything close to a good team, they should be able to win this one. There's no way this line should be minus 110 here against the Canadiens. It's unbelievable. The guys they have on this team, it's just a joke. Nashville puck line.
Later, Viv. Carm.
Yeah, I don't get this line. Saros and net. It's Saros and Price and net. I don't get this line. I thought Nashville would be about 20 cents higher, about 135. This game means more to them than it does to the Canadiens. It doesn't always translate into a win, of course, but it's Preds in the under for me.
Guys, if we get 500 people logging in to watch this show live, we will give every single person who logs in live that day one free package of your choice for the day. 500 guys. Get your friends, get your family, get your mom, get your dad. 500 guys, and we would give you guys all one free play. Okay, boys. New Jersey, Pittsburgh. Over and under 6. I like Pittsburgh in regulation. Go ahead, Andrew.
I love that play. Sometimes you don't want to get in the middle of a team when they're on a pretty bad run or drop 2 straight games, but this is a spot where you want to bet on them off 2 back-to-back home games. Sometimes it's good for a team to get out on the road, and now they're playing a really crappy team. I like the Leafs here, the Penguins in regulation. Maybe even lean to the puck line. And this is one of those prop bets I have. I cashed it the other night with Edmonton. I'm on tonight. Steeper price. Penguins score first, minus 150. A prop bet for you there as well.
Carmine?
Hey, echoing what Andrew said, it's one of the things I've harped on all year and last year with a lot of success. Is a good team that drops 2 or 3 at home and then hits the road. That first road game is typically a very good performance by them. Prez, I like your Penguins in regulation time today. Lower the price. I don't want to lay $1.65. I'll take regulation.
I had a friend who's a diehard Penguins fan. Obviously, a lot of Penguins fans around where I live because of Crosby. Went up there for the back-to-back home games and just saw them get absolutely shit on for 2 straight games. I mean, what a horrible time to go to watch them play for back-to-back games. They give up 5 goals one game and 6 the next.
Oh, Carolina, Detroit. I think a 5-2 Carolina. Carm?
5-2 Carolina? Yeah, you're probably in that wheelhouse. Yeah, Detroit has won a couple of games, but let's get serious. This is another one of those ones, and I don't want to keep using the phrase it's more important to a team, but Carolina is playing a lot better. They get Mrazek back. They sent one of their emergency goalies, not the Zamboni guy, but one of their regular goalies back down to the minors. So I think Mrazek's ready to go tonight. And they won a couple of row. That win against Pittsburgh was ultra impressive. So this is maybe they start to string some wins together. You got to have a look at their lineup and hopefully hop on a streak. Let's start with the Canes tonight on the puck line.
Andrew?
Yeah, Carm, I know you don't really like grabbing the puck line when you're getting this type of value, but I agree. I think this is a spot where it's a good spot to grab the puck line. And I talked about it with you yesterday, Prez. When you see a team like Detroit coming off an upset like that, 5-4, big win for them, against a great team like Tampa, here comes the letdown spot. They're not going to win 2 in a row like this. I know Carolina isn't Tampa Bay, but it's almost like these crappy teams are going to get up more for the games against the really good teams than against the above average teams. And this will be a perfect example of it, how they'll play a way better game against a better team than they will against a team like Carolina.
Yeah, I agree. And yeah, Brian, PZ5 is for tomorrow. That's 80% of any package, a daily package at Sports Memo and Wager Talk. Anaheim minus 135 against Ottawa, over and under 5.5. I think Ottawa's live, but this is a big fat pass for me.
Was that directed towards
Sorry,
me?
I got the leader, the boss, Johnny, texting me while I speak. Go ahead, Andrew.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like it's definitely one of those ones that I probably would lean Ottawa if anybody, but this is something I want to stay away from right now. Two teams that aren't really in contention. Ottawa actually has some pretty good prospects and some younger guys that, again, we're not quite there yet in this year, in this part of the year, but you're going to start seeing the prospects and some younger guys still kind of giving it their all, where sometimes you see the older guys pack it in and get ready for vacation. I know we're not quite there yet in the season, but Ottawa has quite a bit of excitement coming into their team. They have draft picks on draft picks on
they
draft
could be
picks.
drafting 1, 3, and 4, 2, 3, and 4, 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, so I mean, there's lots of motivation, lots of excitement surrounding this team. So maybe grab them at a plus price. I think it's important to mention, if you're going to get two crappy teams playing each other, try and make an excuse why you shouldn't bet the dog.
He's Andrew. Carm, what do you like?
Yeah, I'm going to take Ottawa here. I thought Ottawa could play the spoiler role a couple weeks ago, and then they dropped a couple in a row, but somehow they won 4 of their last 5. They're averaging 3.6 goals over those games, and it's one of those ones where they're not ready for the offseason, although the offseason is ready for them. They're stringing some wins together, and they're having fun doing it. So you're getting plus money on them. I'm going to take a shot tonight and put the Senators probably in a small parlay along with a couple of other dogs.
Yeah, Davey, the Kings have been doing amazing, but they're not playing tonight, so let's move on. Guys, that's the show. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching and joining. Tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern, Andrew and Buster, plus one of my best jokes ever saved for tomorrow's show. Honor and privilege to be doing this. I absolutely love doing these live. The shows are longer live because we include a lot of you guys in what you're saying, and we try to answer some of the questions. For one of the commenters who misses Dave Koken's crustiness, he'll be on Thursday. And also First Pitch, the baseball show with me and Dave, starts in a couple of weeks. We'll see you all tomorrow. Thank you so much for joining Puck Time Live.